Hello my fellow gangsters. So for this tutorial, we're gonna use a color picker that someone made and use that to tint different materials on the car so that we're like changing the paint color. And we'll make it so we can have like different sections that we're gonna paint. So only the car body, or like only the windows, or like only the wheels. This is a continuation from the easy suspension tutorial, so you need to do that one first. I'll put a link below for that tutorial. This guy, Judah4, made the HSV color picker for free, so I'm going to put a link below for this. And you can go here, and it's like this thing that you click on clone or download, download zip, and get this HSV color picker. Extract that, like unzip that, and it's got like a project here that we're gonna just go into this and have a look at it. So in Unity we'll go open and find that. What is it? Unity HSV color picker, HSV color picker. And so he has picker test scene. So let's go in here. And he's got this cool thing, cool color picker, and it's tinting. Each one's like attached to an object and it's tinting it. So if you click on one of these cubes, you can see it's got this color picker tester script, and it has the cube that we're tinting, and then it has the color picker that is applying the color to it. So we want to put this into our easy suspension project that we already started, and you never want to like drag the files together or anything. You want to just export a package and then import it. So select or right click the main HSV picker folder and go export package, and then include dependencies, so it's everything, and let's just export that to your desktop or wherever. I'm just going to call it color picker, and it's going to make us a custom package called color picker. And now I'm going to open our project that we were doing last time. On the previous video we had just made this cool car, and we want to add that color picker package. So let's go assets, import package, custom package, and go find it, color picker, and import. So now I've got this HSV picker folder and this prefab here, picker 2.0. So we want to have a canvas for this thing, so go create UI canvas, and then let's drag this picker 2.0 into our canvas. And now we've got this color picker. I'm going to select the canvas and choose scale with screen size and make the width height 0.5, because that's about the size that works for me, but you can just do whatever you want. I'm going to save this scene. In the picker test scene, if you select a cube, you can see that they had that script on it. If you just click once on the name, that will find it in the project. So it's color picker tester right here. So let's go back to our scene, and we want to put color picker tester on our car because we're going to be tinting our car. So car root, color picker tester. So I'm going to drag it, and on the bottom of the underneath add component, I can just drag it on there. So it has a renderer that I guess we're going to tint, and then the picker, which is this color picker thing. If we go inside the car, there's car body, car bumper, car doors, and all this stuff. So let's try putting the car body on there. And our picker is inside our canvas, picker 2.0. So drag that there. And let's just try pressing play. Alright, so it tints the body part. It doesn't get the doors. So we want to somehow have more than one renderer so that we can have our doors as well. So let's go into the color picker tester script. So let's double click that and go into it. So in here we have a renderer, and I guess these are like tinting the car. The renderer's material gets tinted to the color picker's color. So we want to have more than one renderer. I don't know what this new is for, so I'm just going to delete that. So let's, instead of just a renderer, let's have a renderer array and just call it renderers. And then we're going to have to loop through this so that it sets the color for every single renderer that we attach to this array of multiple renderers. So let's go for int n equals 0, semicolon thing, n less than renderers dot length, semicolon thing, n plus plus. So it's going to cycle through. We want this guy inside of it. And we'll go renderers n in the array. So it's going to cycle through each of those and set the color. And then I guess we want to do the same thing here. For whatever this thing looks like, it does the same sort of thing. So same thing, then renderers. So now this renderer list can be like an array of any number of renderers. So let's save that, go back to the scene, and wait for the little spinny thing on the bottom right to finish. So now on our color picker, it has renderers, so we can change the size of that to 2. So now there's 2 renderers. So now we can have the car body, right? So if I select the car body, this is the mesh renderer. So this is the thing, and it's going to a material in there and tinting it. So that's the first one, and then the second one would be the car underscore door. Let's try that. So it didn't work, but it kind of worked. So it's tinting the door, but it's the wrong part of the door. It's the top part of the door. So the reason that is because we are going to our renderer and its material, and it's setting the material's color to the color picker's color. So on our door, well, the reason it works on the body is that here's the mesh renderer, and we go to a material and tint it. We're tinting the first material because we didn't specify which one, so it's just going with this first one, which is body paint material 1, which is cool because we want to tint that. But on the door, this green one here is body paint matte 01. And in our list of materials, body paint matte 01 is element 1, so it's the second thing in the list. So it's tinting this other one. If I make it yellow and then kind of drag this, so you can see that one turned yellow. So we want to specify which material. So if we go back into this script, instead of saying renderers.material.color, we'll go materials, and then that's already an array, and then 0. That's not going to change anything. That's exactly what we currently are doing. Because we didn't specify, it just kind of went with the first one. You have to change the word to materials. And so if we change that to a 1 instead, it's going to do the second one instead of the first one. So let's see if it does the second material instead. So now it's doing like the hood on the car, but it's doing the correct part on the doors. So we need to tell it that on the car body we want to do the first one, and on the car doors we want to do the second one. So if we go back to our car here, so we have this list of renderers. We should also have another list that's like just numbers, so an integer list that corresponds with the renderer list. So the first thing in our renderer list is the car body. So when we have our integer list, that will be referring to the car body for the first element and the car door for the second element. And we'll just say like the first number is a 0, so we're going to do the material 0. And for the door, we'll have the second element that matches with the door. We'll make that a 1 so that it does material 1 in the list of materials, which is the second material. Super complicated. So back in our script, let's have a public int array material numbers. And when we cycle through the list of renderers, we'll also cycle through the list of material numbers in the exact same corresponding with each other, right? So the n here goes 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3. So it's the first renderer, the second renderer, the third. So we'll also at the same time be like the first renderer, the first material, the second renderer, the second material. So we'll go our integer mat n, so material number equals material numbers, our new array thing, n. And then instead of the 1 here, we'll put this mat n right there. And I guess we'll do the same thing over on this other loop. So mat n. I'm not sure why he has 2 of these loops here. It seems to me that we only need this line right here in here, and we don't actually need this one, and we don't need this whole loop. So I'm just going to delete that stuff. So we just have just this. So we need to set up what these material numbers are. So after we save that and wait for it to compile, now we will have also a material list as well as a renderer list. Alright, so material numbers, there would be 2 of them. So the first one would be the car body and the second one would be the car door. So 0, because on the car body we want element 0, which is body paint material 1, and then on the door we want element 1, because that's body paint material 1 here. So we will go leave that first one 0 and make the second one 1, and try that. Oh yeah! Now it's all nice looking. Yo. That's a paint job. Check out my paint, yo. It's all across the body of the car, yo. One thing that kind of sucks is as soon as we press play, it's not using the right color. So it changes. So we should make the color picker automatically be whatever color the material is first, so that it doesn't change. So let's go back to the script. And he actually had on that page where we downloaded this, he said if you want to assign your own color first, go picker.currentColor equals whatever color you want. So in the start here, let's go picker.currentColor equals renderers 0, so our first thing, which is the body, dot materials 0, so the first material, which was that green, dot color. So we're setting it to the color. So now, hopefully, it will just stay green when we press play. So press play, and the color picker automatically went to the material color. And then we can just move this slider. Yeah. So that's cool. So now I want to do something kind of complicated. So right now we have our list of renderers and our list of which material. We want to have different sections of the car that we're tinting. So this is just the car body section. So to do that, we're going to have a 2D array so that we can have our renderers and materials are like things that are in an array as well, and we can switch which ones. So let's go back to the code, and to have a 2D array, we actually need to go up above the class here and make another class, public class array2d, and we're going to put our renderer and materials inside of this. And for this to show up in the inspector, it has to be serializable for some reason. So we go system.serializable. And now back in our color picker class, we'll have a public array2d array paint sections. For the renders and materials that we're currently using, let's do private renderer array current renderers and private int current material numbers. And let's just update everywhere that says renderers to current renderers. So current renderers, and we'll put current material numbers instead of material numbers. And let's also, at the beginning of the start, say that our current renderers equals our paint sections 0 first element dot renderers, and our current material numbers equals paint sections 0, so the first element dot, what was it, material numbers. So this is like setting it to the first section. Hopefully we'll now have a 2D array on here, and then inside each element of that array we'll have the renderer. And so if we set this to 2, we'll have 2 different sections of stuff, which will be like the body, and then we'll do the body secondary, which is like the hood and stuff. So set that to 2. And now we have inside of that, the first element has our renderer and material numbers. So that was 2 for each of these. So what did we have? We had our car body and our car door. And it was 0 and then 1 for the materials. And then in the second section, we'll do the same thing. We'll have 2. Car body again, and with car door, and then so on our car body we want to tint this top hood part for the instead of the normal part, so that is body paint matte 02, which is element 1. And then on the door we want these things around the windows. That was the first one, that was 0. So everything's the same except instead of 0, 1, we'll do 1, 0. So now, hopefully nothing broke. Let's just test it. Make sure we can still tint the body. And then so if we were to go back into the code and set these all to 1, then it would be like setting it, to save it, setting our paint section our current renderers and materials to this one element. So this would be like the secondary car stuff. So if we play it now, it should tint a different part. Yeah, so now it does like the secondary material. So all we have to do is change that number, and then we can add more elements to this list for more sections, and we can tint like all different parts of the car. So let's go back to the code, and let's set this thing back to 0 so it defaults with that first material color. But let's make a function for choosing what paint section we're on. So public void set paint section, and we'll pass in an integer, call it underscore number underscore num, and we'll take these current renderers and whatever, let's move that inside of here, and we'll just put underscore number underscore num instead of, so we pass in that value, right, instead of it just being a 1. So we'll call this right here, we will set it to 0, the first one, the body, by default. And then we'll be able to call this and set different numbers to choose different sections of the car that we're going to paint. So we'll save that. And so let's do this with some buttons. So on our canvas, let's right click UI button, and I'm going to click this rect transform thing and hold Alt Shift and click the bottom left. So now it's in the bottom left. And inside the text, we'll just make it say body, and then on the button here, there's this on click, so we'll click the little plus here, and we'll drag our car root onto that, and then we'll choose our color picker tester and do our set paint section and leave it 0, so that's the number that we're passing in. So now when we on click, so now when we click this button, it's calling this thing and it's putting a 0 here, so it's setting it to the car body. And so let's just duplicate this button and make it say body secondary, I guess. And let's move the button position X to 160, so it's beside the other one. And instead of 0, we'll do 1. So that's setting it to paint section element 1 right here. So now when we play, we should be able to choose what section that we're painting. So tinting that, and then if I click body secondary, now we're doing the other part, which is pretty cool. With our weird paint job. So we should do like the bumpers and the windows and tint the wheels. Whoosh. So that'd be pretty cool. So to add the bumper, let's duplicate this button again, make it say bumper or bumpers, and position X will go plus 160 just to move it over by that much. And we'll make the paint section 2, and then back on our car we need to actually have an element 2, so we'll make the size 3. So this is the paint section for our bumpers, and we only need 1 for these. And our bumper inside our car, here's our bumper, and the bumper only has 1 material, so it'll be element 0. So I'll do 0. And let's do another one. Let's do like Windows. So right click that button, duplicate it. Make the text say Windows. And move this button over. Plus 160 in the X. And this will be paint section 3. And then we'll create paint section 3 by having a 4th element because it starts at 0. And the renderers for the window, drag that on. It's probably a 0. So yeah, it only has one material, element 0. And I'm also going to tell this camera, multi-purpose camera rig, to have a turn speed of 0 because it will be easier to look at the car. So what do we got here? Got my dope car and bumpers and window. Of course I should have green windows. Yeah, check it out, yo. So one thing that kind of sucks is right now it's green. If I click on the body, the color still is on green. It's not back to whatever the body was. So we need to do that thing where it starts on the right color every time we change these. So let's go back to the script. So let's just copy this line here, but do it backwards. So inside the paint section, we'll just switch this so that the color picker is equal to this stuff. And we'll just use the first renderer, the first material in this list. Save that. Hopefully, we press play now. So it's green, but then I'm like, go to the bumper, and now it's the bumper's color. I can change it, and then go back to the body, and it's the correct color for that stuff. And then go back to the windows, and it's the correct thing, and it has transparency. And then if I go back to the bumpers again, it's the right color. Body, body. Yeah. And so let's do another button for the wheels, because we gotta tint the wheels to have sweet rims, yo. So let's duplicate that button. Wheels and plus 160. That'll be paint section 4. And we don't actually have renderers to put onto this stuff, so I'm gonna have to try a little trick. So let's just press play and wait for the car to kind of settle into its position. It's totally flat and everything. And right click car root and go copy, and then stop playing the game. And let's paste that in, and now it's got the wheels on it. And let's click our main car and go to the transform and click the little gear thing and go copy component. And on this duplicate one, we'll go paste component values. So now they're in the exact same position. And just double check that each wheel is in the exact same position as the other one in the other car. Because if they aren't the same, then copy those values over too. But if they're the same, then let's just drag our tires inside of there. so that we don't have to generate them. And then delete this duplicate car. And then on our rear wheel drive script where it has wheel shape, click the little circle thing and choose none so that it's not going to paste in another set of wheels. And let's go into that rear wheel drive script and make sure it's still going to update the wheel positions. Update visual wheels if any. So if wheel shape, it's going to update the stuff. But we don't have that. It's null because we didn't attach it. So let's just copy or comment this out so that it's going to try to update them anyway. And it shouldn't break anything because right here he's going wheel.transform.getChild. So it's going to find this object because right here the wheel.transform, it's going to look for a child, and this is the child. So even though it didn't paste any tires in, it's probably still going to work, hopefully. Let's also apply changes to our prefab because we have that other car in here as well. And then press play. Hopefully we didn't break anything. Oh wow. Well, I'm just going to, for some reason I have duplicate cars here. So I'm going to right click and delete that. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, but I just have two cars. Okay, now let's see. Okay, is that fixed? And the wheels still turn, so I didn't break them. So now they already exist, they don't get pasted in, so we can add our new paint section. So paint section 5, I believe, was what we had for this guy. Or paint section 4, element 4, so there's 5 paint sections. So the renders for the wheels would be 4 of them, and that would be each of these tires. So I'll drag those on. And I'm pretty sure the tire, okay, so wheel material is probably the one that we want. So that's element 1, not 0. So we'll just put 1 on, so this has to be 4 so it matches, and just 1, 1, 1, 1. And let's try this. Hopefully it worked. I don't know what this is. Let's just delete that other car because we don't need it. Alright, so hopefully if I go wheels, oh yeah! Bling bling suckers. Some matte black wheels, yo. Straight gangster wheels. And they still turn and everything. Awesome. It's a girly car. But yeah, now we have a pretty sweet car. And if you wanted to do like this interior, you could probably also tint the interior, right? Because there's like, where are we here? Interior section, car seats. So you could probably tint the car seats and stuff too, but I'll just leave you guys to figure that out. This is pretty sweet for now, so yeah. Peace out, my fellow gangsters. Ross the boss.
Ross the boss. The boss.
Okanagan Makers Group, yo.
Yeah. Here's grab the door there.
Oh, sorry.
So here I'll show you. There's I'm gonna do it again because it peeled up in places because of the way the acrylic adhered to the stuff. Like we mask it with tape, and then when we're peeling it up, it actually peeled back the stuff. So I'm gonna try it again with spray paint.
Cool.
Yeah, you're official now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You make a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, have a look. We actually built the room now, so it's starting to come together. Still
Cool.
a freaking mess in here.
It's your $10 billion printing machine.
Yeah, so there's this guy. And then I got one of these now. Okay. See that?
Nice.
£5.
This place has actually like evolved a bunch since I was here before.
Yeah, and I've got the filtration unit outside now, so it's not quite so bad. I still gotta seal it up because it lets all the air in. But yeah, I got this on. I just lucked out and got a super deal on this. These are normally $350, so I got it for $200.
Nice.
And you use it to keep your beer cold.
Nice.
But mostly it's carbon dioxide, so if there is a fire in there, I can put it out without damaging any of the electronics, because the other ones just spray all sorts of crap and it would destroy those machines. Yeah, I've got some mirrored acrylic and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, gonna build areas for supplies and all that. So it's coming together. That's gonna be over there, and then we'll have we'll work out the cords properly, and we'll probably put a plug down there. And, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram, Ross?
It's Okanagan Makers.
Okay. I'm gonna put a link below. Cool.
It is totally embarrassing because
it's awesome.
the shop is like,
Dude, before there was like just there wasn't any desks or I don't know, like it was no walls or something was
Before
different.
it looked like a bit of a hoarder's place, I think. It's still got a bit of that, but it's coming together. Yeah,
Cool.
once we have some showing, yeah, that's new. So we're gonna be so organized. We're gonna be like, we're all dialed in.
Cool.
It's getting easier to find stuff now.
So like people like pay and then they like subscribe or something and then they just make stuff with all your tools kind of.
Yeah, well they just the maker group, which is just meetup.com, OK Makers. People just show up every week, and I'm actually we're gonna be moving the meetups to the library because we're filling up the space. Like last time we had 12 or 15 people in here, so it's getting kind of crowded, which is good. We're
Sweet.
succeeding.
Cool, yeah.
It's time for phase 2.
Nice.
So yeah.
I don't get what I want, I get what I need. Every single day I'm heading off to my dream, and I get everything that I damn well please. I don't give a damn if you all listening to me, cause I run it. I'm the only one that really want it, I'm the only one that's really on it. I'm just being honest, I'm just doing everything I promise, cause I want it bad enough that I'ma make it as an artist. And I know I'm not the smartest, and I know I'm not the largest, but I promise you that I'ma be the one that worked the hardest, cause I promise you that I'm just getting started. And I promise you that my skills are getting sharper, so I'ma get charted. Can't be guarded, nah, I'm the one to get retarded. Get the party started, yeah, get the party started, yeah, so let me get up on it, yeah.